So you do the x-rays. What is inside of my cat, you may ask? Hey guys, I'm back with another Knit Talks vlog. I know it's been a while. I think the last video was probably back in December. So, well, not even in December, probably like end of November. I don't think I did a video at all in December. So I wanted to make another video to update you guys on my knitting progress and what projects I'm working on, and just give like a general update on like what's happened in between like the month or so since I've made my last vlog. So I got my knitting here. I am working on a Oslo hat by Petite Knit. The yarn that I'm using is by Naima Bond, and I can't remember the color name of this yarn. I think it's Bad Romance. Oh no, it's called Romance. Romantic. No, yeah, it's just okay. It's just called Romantic. Let's see. It is. Oh no, never mind. Sorry. Colorway name Romance. It's 75% merino wool, 25% nylon, so it's sock yarn and it's fingering weight. This is the tag that it comes with, and it's a really beautiful color. It's a what is it called? Like a sign pooling color way. So like that way, the color just kind of like shows up whenever, like it's like random. And so I just casted this on. I've been working on it for just a little bit, maybe like a couple days. I decided to make this a knit with me vlog just because it's so like therapeutic. It's like super easy project. You just go on and stocking it for about like 7 inches, and then there's like then the pattern kind of starts with the decreases for the hat. So I'm gonna work on this while we chat. Okay, so where my last video left off, I had finished like the baby hat as well as the baby blanket, which is gonna be mailed off at some point this week because my cousin's baby is coming very, very soon. I believe at the end of this month. So I have to go ahead and make sure that that gets out to her. So I went ahead and I made the pink baby hat that I showed, the same like blue and green blanket that I finished, which I believe I should have shown on here. If not, I will go ahead and put the photos. And then I also made with my Cricut machine a little t-shirt for her that has her name on it. I thought that would be really cute to add as an addition, something for her to wear with her little hat and get wrapped up in her cute little baby blanket. So I'm excited about seeing that getting sent off this week. And then I also finished my Knititude Snowfall sweater scarf. Now, let's get into some tea about that because, well, it's really not much tea. It's really just Simone, again, not paying attention to gauge. I personally don't ever care about gauge. As I said before in a previous video, I just go ahead and I start the project and I knit. That I realized that was an issue because, of course, what happened with my Cara Wrap, it came out completely wrong, didn't fit, and you would think, hey, she must have learned her lesson. But I figured this was like a scarf, so like, what's the big deal? Because while it is a scarf, it also has like the sweater component. It needs to fit like lengthwise, and so my gauge. So the thing, I did a gauge swatch. So my ribbing, the pattern consisted of like ribbing along the arms, and then let me just show it to you. The pattern consisted of like ribbing along the arm, and then of course like the stockinette pattern for the length of the scarf, and it's a shawl. So I did the pattern. It's finished. It came out really, really great. I put it on before I blocked it, and it seemingly was like, okay, the right length. It was still like a little long. It felt like when I blocked it, and of course the fabric, the fibers, whatever, it expanded, and it got like super long. And I was like, oh no. So it made it functional still as a shawl, but not the best because there's so much like extra fabric to deal with. So I have still been wearing this as like a really big circle scarf. So what I've been doing, like how I've been wearing it, because it's like so cold here in Chicago, so it makes sense that I would need it for this. I've been putting it on and like doubling it up here like this, and then from here. I think I was like wrapping it like one more time or something. Let's see. What was I doing? Oh, okay, wait, no. I messed this up. I was doing it like this, and then draping this around like this, and then taking this, putting it in here, and then tightening it, because it, again, is super cold, so I need all the layers I can get along my neck. And so this is how I've been wearing it. And it's been amazing, because again, it is so stinking cold in Chicago right now. Actually, today specifically, it's like 9 degrees. So it's come in handy. I've used it. But as a shawl, it doesn't work the best because it's so long, which is what told me again, like, you definitely should have done a swatch of both, blocked both, and then, you know, kept up with it throughout the project. It's just, I hate doing gauge swatches. I don't feel like it matters, but obviously the last 2 projects I've done, it definitely did matter. So I don't know, whatever. I don't know that I'm going to redo it though. It works for what it works for. I probably would still wear it as a shawl, maybe just wear like a clip or something in the back, because it is a great scarf. Like, it's very, very warm. I love the thickness of it. It's a worsted weight woolies by Lion Brand, and the colorway, it's like an off-white. I don't remember the name of the colorway, but I'm sure I'll put it in the description. But it's such a nice yarn. It feels really good to the skin. It's so soft. I love it. I think it came out really well, other than the fact that, like, my own thing of just, I should have, you know, worried more about gauge, that it would have fit perfectly in terms of, like, when I wrap the shawl around. It's just way too long. But I'm thinking about either potentially redoing it. I doubt it, but potentially redoing it so that way I can reuse the same yarn, or just starting over and, like, doing another one, paying closer attention to gauge. To see, you know, make sure that that comes out right, and I can actually use it as a shawl a little bit more functionally. But right now, it is the most amazing scarf because it is so cold, and I can wrap it several times because it's so long. So that has been working out well. Also, I did mention I have on my Lento. I believe I showed this in like maybe the first video. This is my Lento. Very, very warm. Also, I've been wearing this non-stop on repeat this whole last like week or so because this is so warm. It's finally the weather that like I can wear without sweating. What was I trying to say? This is marine. So it's one strand of fingering weight, and then it has mohair. That's what I'm trying. Okay, that was the word, mohair. So it's 2 held together, fingering weight with mohair held together, and it's just a cute little, you know, little sweater. This is my first sweater, my only sweater at this point that I have finished. So very warm. Decided to wear it for this video, only because I was cold and because it's super cute. I haven't worn it for a video in a while, so figured I would put that on. Now, let's talk about how my holiday went. There's some good things. There's some crazy things. Let's just talk about all the things. Now, where we left off my last video, it was right before Thanksgiving, maybe like a week or so before Thanksgiving. At that time, my cat, like during that time, she was like kind of doing a little weird, like she had been like throwing up, and I thought that it was potentially like hairballs or something like that. So I ended up like trying to buy hairball cream for her, and like in the process of like waiting for it to come, she was getting worse. Like she was like it went from like, you know, throwing up maybe like once a day within like a week, a couple like days span, to like several times within a day. This is like over maybe like a week, and I'm like, oh god, like this is getting really bad. So like a Monday evening, maybe like a week before Thanksgiving, I rush her into the vet clinic, like an emergency 24-hour vet clinic, whatever. They do a ultrasound of her, and they're like, oh, we didn't find anything. They had like a whole list of other things they wanted to try and all this stuff. And I was like, well, like one, it's super late at this point. It's like 1 a.m. And I'm like it was so expensive, all the things they're like trying to like attempt to do or try, whatever. I was like, no, like I would rather just wait until the morning. I can maybe arrange for a vet visit for her, and we can see, and maybe the vet could potentially give her like x-rays for cheaper, and we can maybe go from there. So so we leave the vet clinic. They gave her like some medicine and some things to stop her from throwing up, as well as to give her some fluids. But like that next day, and I forget to mention that like while she was throwing up and stuff, she wasn't eating or like pooping, which obviously was an issue. But the next couple of days, she seemed to be doing fine. So that morning I made a vet visit. The vet visit wasn't until like a couple days later. But during that time, she was doing fine. Like she was eating, well, seemingly doing fine. She was eating. I had seen her using the bathroom, like peeing. So I figured, okay, well maybe she's working things out. Maybe she's fine. But flash forward to like Sunday of that week, the vet visit has come and gone. I didn't take her because I figured she was doing better. Then Sunday of that week, I come home and I realize she has thrown up again. So now I'm like freaking out. I make her an appointment for the next day, which would have been, so now I'm like, well, no, this is Sunday night. So I make the appointment on Monday. The next day would have been Tuesday. So I take her in. It's now Tuesday-ish before Thanksgiving. I take her in there. The vet looks her over. She gives her like a full workup without the x-rays, but she's just like, looking her over. She's like, well, maybe we should just like change her diet. Like, she's giving me all these different suggestions of things that's going on. And she's like, you know what, just to be safe before you leave, let's just do the x-rays just in case, it is something that she may have eaten or something like that. So we do the x-rays, significantly cheaper than the emergency vet. I will add, it was definitely a much better price. So we do the x-rays. What is inside of my cat, you may ask? I will show you. You ready? Oh, okay. This. A stitch marker. How do I show this? Like that. And then specifically my Nina one, which I was like, oh my God, I had just bought it. Like, it's so sad. I was like, why? Like, what the heck? And the reason I knew it was this one, because this, like, what I saw in the x-ray was just like this part of it. I'm guessing the plastic part wouldn't have shown up. So I just see like this inside of like her intestines or like whatever. I was like, and so the vet's asking like, oh, are you missing any rings? I was like, no. But then when she mentioned, like, she started talking about it and was saying like, oh, it's circular and it's, it's gotten stuck and all this stuff. I'm thinking like, I knew I lost a stitch marker. Like at one point I was knitting and she was near me and I was knitting and it fell off. And I was like, okay, I'm going to reach for it, like pick it up, whatever, once I get this row done or whatever I was working on. But when I reached down to like grab it, it wasn't there. So I kept thinking like, okay, well maybe I kicked it or maybe whatever. I did know that she had jumped down from the bed at the exact moment that it fell, but like I just never put two and two together. Why would she freaking eat this? Like, mistake. And so this is literally inside of her body. So at this point, I'm freaking out. I'm like what? Like, I'm upset because I want my thing. I'm upset because like she's eating it. I'm upset because like I know this is gonna be expensive. I'm just like upset. I'm worried. Like, oh my God. Okay. So then the lady's like, the vet, she's like, okay, well we can like do this surgery, tomorrow. So tomorrow would have been now Wednesday, the day before Thanksgiving. But like it's gonna be like $4,000. I was like, no, can't do that. Like, what are my other options? So long story short, I find another place that's willing to do this, that's able to do the surgery for much cheaper. But considering this is now like the next day, when I found this place, it was the next day after I went to the vet, because I was like, she gave me some options, places to call. She was like, hey, if you can't get in touch with them, call me back, whatever. So I found another place that was willing to do it. This is now the day before Thanksgiving. They're like, yeah, we can do it, but like not today. And obviously the next day, tomorrow, at that point, it's going to be Thanksgiving. And they're like, well, we can do it at the earliest Friday. So I was like, that's great. Thanks. That it's a lot cheaper. You're willing to do it. It's still just like a long time to think that I have to wait like 2 days at this point, like or a little over 24 hours, I guess, before she can get the surgery done to get this thing removed from her. And mind you, at this point, she's not eating. She's not like using the bathroom. She's like in my opinion, like a bad state, because like she was like, in pain. It was just a nightmare. I was like, what is going on? So yes, I waited until Friday. I brought her in. My cat is fine, thank God. Like she went through surgery. They cut the thing out. Like that's literally the one that I just showed you was the one that was inside of her body. They gave it back to me. I was like, thanks. Glad this all worked out, but like furious that I had to like pay all this money and do all this stuff. Like, right before the holidays. Like, I don't know. It was crazy. It was like one of the craziest, funniest, terrible stories I've ever have been a part of. I was like, what is going on? Like, I've never experienced that. I've never heard of anyone talk about their cat ever eating something bad or, having anything like this happen. I was just like, this is the worst thing ever. But I'm so glad that she is okay. And I think it's so funny that I got it back. I literally have not used it though. I feel like it's like bad juju. So I just haven't, like, I keep it, but I'm like, I haven't used it. And it's funny because like I ended up buying another one when I realized it was missing, thinking that, okay, I just have lost it. And so now I have two. But that was just my funny, crazy holiday pet cat story. That was like a crazy way to start off the holidays. But after that, obviously, I was like in a weird state, did not want to make a video, did not want to do much anything other than like, just because then like she had to do like this whole recovery thing. It was a mess. But my Christmas is much better than that. And more specifically, I got a really, really cool knitting related present for Christmas, which I'm going to show you guys. Okay, so here it is. I got two books and they are knitting related. So this is really cool. So I went to, first like a backstory. I went to a library here and like near my home, like near where I grew up actually. There was a knitting event there. And I happened to show up there just like, it was like one of their first events they were going to have. They were trying to start like a knitting circle. And so that was like the first meetup. And when I go there, they had like all these knitting books on the table. And so the one that I see is this one. So it catches my eye. I walk over to it. I'm like reading the back. And I was like, oh my God, this book is so cool. Like, it's a romance novel about knitting. Like these two, actually, let me just read the back. I know you guys want to hear. Okay, Jesse Strong is known for two things: his devotion to his adoptive mom, Mama Joy, and his reputation for breaking hearts. While Mama Joy unexpectedly passes away, he and his brothers have different plans for what to do with Strong Knits, their neighborhood knitting store. Jesse wants to keep the store open. His brothers want to tie off loose ends and close the shop. Part-time shop owner Carrie Fuller has kept her crush on Jesse a secret. When she overhears his impassioned plea to his brothers to keep the knitting shop open, she volunteers to help. Unlike Jesse, Carrie knows the nitty-gritty of the business, and together they make plans to reinvent Strong Knits for a new generation. But the more time they spend together, the stronger the chemistry builds between them. Carrie, knowing Jesse's history, doesn't believe their relationship can last longer than she can knit one, purl two. But Jesse is determined to prove to her that he can be the man for her forever and always. After all, real men knit. And that is the title of the book, Real Men Knit. I was so excited. So then I went ahead, after I saw it at the library event, I was like, that's so cool. So then I ended up asking for that for Christmas. I was like, hey guys, like, this is what I want. And then this is a sequel. So there's a second book written, Not Again. And it's spelled Knot, not again. That is so cute. So the author's name is Kwana Jackson. I haven't even started reading either one of them, and just from like the backs of the book, like reading the what they're gonna be about, I'm already hooked. I can't wait to start these. The only reason I'm not opening about and like reading now, because I'm like, it's already been like a little bit since Christmas, and I'm like so excited to get into them because I'm reading another book. So I want to make sure that I finish that one first, have a clean slate, so then I can get into these two because these are definitely up next. I'm so excited. Like, it's a romance novel, which I love. It's about knitting. Oh my God. And then the author herself, she knits. She's a knitter. And I followed her on Instagram. Super cool. This is so great. I cannot wait to get into these books. So highly recommend you guys should go ahead and buy yourself an after Christmas gift and get both of these books because you know you're going to want to read the second one once you're done. So that was like a highlight of my holiday after all the crazy mess with my cat eating my stitch marker. But a very knitting related, tragic yet happy holiday season. But all of that is my excuse as to why I wasn't like consistently uploading my like knitting vlogs during the holiday season. I was dealing with a lot of things at that time, but it all worked out. I'm glad. And I'm working on my Oslo hat, so, and I have beautiful yarn. I love and her knitting, her yarn line is called Sister Ananse. I love her yarn so much, so I'm happy. I've gotten over my distress from the holidays, and I'm happy. But that's pretty much it for what I had today. The finished product that I want to show was my sweater scarf, which was like a half and half. It was a win because I'm happy that it's done and it works out. It works perfectly as a big chunky scarf for this crazy 9-degree weather that we're having right now in Chicago. Although it does not work the best as a shawl just because of like my gauge issue, but I did try it on and like it looks beautiful when I did put the clip in it to try it on. But again, I have to just maybe redo it or potentially just start another one to get the gauge right to make sure that the shawl version of the scarf is working well for me in regards to fit. But other than that, it's a great scarf. So even if you just want to knit it and wear it as a scarf and a cold day, you'd be fine. And then the only thing that I have on my needles right now, honestly, is this Oswald hat, which I started a couple days ago. So that's pretty much it. Also, another thing, on Wednesday, my knitting group that I meet up with, Fiber Friends, which is typically a Saturday morning meetup, they also do we've added Sunday afternoons to the knitting meetup as well because it's gotten so big, so we had to. We hosted I say we, but like it was like the owner of the group, Tina. She hosted a knit at the movies. So we literally went to our local movie theater here. We rented out a whole theater, and we all just knit and watched this movie. So they made sure that the light stayed on or like dimmed so that we could still see the movie and still have the light that we needed to knit. And guess what movie we saw? I'll wait. Wicked. I was so excited because I had not seen the movie and I knew how popular it was. So I knew that like everyone else was going to be just as excited as I was. And honestly, I don't like things when they're at like their height, like when it's super popular, whatever. It's like I typically am just like, whatever, I'll see it whenever I see it. Like I just hate when things get overhyped. And that's how I kept thinking Wicked was. It's like, oh, people are just like hyping it up. It's not that great. It's just, it's a good movie, I'm sure, but like it's not as good as people are making it seem. Wicked almost had me in tears. It was amazing. It was that good, like that. And I love musicals. I love Wicked. I'm not like a die hard fan. Like I know people are like that are Wicked fans, right? Like I've seen Wicked. I really enjoyed it. I liked it. But this makes me a Wicked die hard fan. Like I was like so impressed by everything, the costume design, the actors, the music. Like it was all like the set design was amazing, and then it was just amazing. The choreography, all of it, it was top tier, and honestly, it was worth every minute of that like 2-hour rundown that I think that it was, maybe a little bit over 2 hours. Was it? Yeah, it was a pretty long movie, but it's worth it. It's amazing, and especially to see it in a special way like that, to like be with my knitting group and we can all knit together while watching this movie. It was a Wednesday night event. And it was a perfect event. I thought it was like so fun, so cool. And I even told like my friends that I was sitting near, I'm like, we're gonna go down in history as the coolest knitting group. So, all that being said, if you're in the Chicago area and we meet like on the South Side in Hyde Park mostly, we also have like other locations that we knit at, but you can find us on Meetup, Fiber Friends. If you want to come out and go to some of our events or knit or whatever, we can hang out. We have events. We also have like our weekly meetups, which we now have 2 weekly meetups, Saturday and Sundays. And there's like various events that we host throughout throughout the month and things like that, movie night thing. It was so fun. I had such a great time. You need to come out and knit with us and enjoy. We do a lot of fun things. So just like a little marketing for my knitting group. But that's about it. That's what I've been knitting. That's what I finished. Let me know if you guys have any questions or comments. Please make sure to like this video. I'm so excited for the new year. I have a lot of different knitting plans. I'll probably make another video about that or maybe just discuss that in my next vlog. But I do hope to get more consistent. I say that, but honestly, I hate editing. That's really my biggest issue. Like I would film all day long. It's just like I don't have to sit down and edit these videos, but I will try to be more consistent and do like weekly uploads because I do enjoy making these and connecting and like learning about the projects that other people are working on and also getting the comments. I love reading comments. I love when I get likes and stuff like that. It's a fun experience. I like connecting with the YouTube knitting community because I get so much out from it. I watch knitting videos all the time, so all that's being said, thank you so much for watching. Sorry about the long pause, but obviously now you know the backstory of what was going on. And just pray for my cat because she's kind of terrible. She even ate through my knitting. Like I had a when I first started this Oslo hat. This is a second turn actually because she bit like a little hole through it. So I don't know. At this point, I think my cat needs Jesus because she's she's just so terrible. But all that to say, I'm glad that she is okay. But thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you next week. Bye.